Sanje Chodan Soji Chonona Shansha Bada Dano Chapsan Ape Chishi Jebe Sonamji Lola Benjo Sanje Ndraba Sanje Chodan Soji Chonona Shansha Bada Dano Chapsan Ape Chishi Jebe Sonamji Lola Benjo Sanje Ndraba Sanje Chodan Soji Chonona Shanti Bada Dano Jati Dami Shidmo Jipesana Lola Pencho Sanjendra.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Geshe.
Good evening, Geshe.
Good evening.
Good evening, Geshe.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, we do like a 10-15 minutes meditation. Today's meditations, what you meditation your daily, practice. You can meditation like that, okay? Like Kama body way, something like that. Okay? Anything you meditation in your home. Because also sometimes you meditation in your own way, but you do group is also a lot much power because you be more focused that time. Okay? Everyone good? Yeah. Okay. Other this is now. How's meditation, you guys? Living? How's you guys discussing last week?
It's good. Yeah.
You have any questions?
Um,
You guys all decide?
See, we discussed mostly verse 31 regarding karma and the way.
Yes. Good. Okay. What do you guys think? Is thing really true? You know, there are 30, the verse number 30 said, if you create the negative karma for your teachers, your friends, even your parents, however, it doesn't matter. It result only your experience. It's not take away from them. You think that's true? What do you think?
Say Geshe-la?
Yes.
Which verse is it again?
Verse 30. 30. You see 30?
I think it's true because there's one of the Catholic theologians, Saint Augustine said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and a lot of times, why I think of that quote in regards to verse 30 is because when we are making like justifications to do like we're like, oh, I'm doing this bad action because it is it will help it will help a greater good, or like when we make these justifications we're actually we have bad intent and we're using like the monk, or we're using our parents, or we're using anything we look up to as like a false, like, oh, we're doing this for them, when really it's out, like if we're acting in violent ways or ways that are of the 10 non-virtuous actions, we are um we are just doing bad actions but using them as justifications. So just so that's my takeaway, is that if you're like doing the 10 non-virtuous actions but thinking that you're justifying it by saying it's for a greater good, is hypocritical, and it only undermines you. It doesn't undermine anyone else.
Okay. No. Okay, that'll be good. That'll be good. 다 간다니 된다라 간다. 아니 쇼로가 숨지 담바티게 다 지난게 수 된다라야. 아니 몇개 왜래 쳐봐나. 띵저도 지나마도 심바냐가 말해서 된다 대이바지.
So in the verse 30, what it is saying is that, you know, no matter who you are creating the negative karma for, so anybody you create negative karma for, the result of that negative karma that you create for others, you know, will be only experienced by yourself. No one else will experience it for you.
다 오늘 되네. 숨지 소지도 오늘 디벨레도 거디만 그래. 간도 요래스. 좋아이나.
And so that negative karma that you have created for the sake of others, when will you experience it? When will it be ripened? You know, what kind of result would that be?
이게 디펜드가 써야 되려야 알레와 남 안에 지금 땅 가지고 먹은 통대야 그치. 무슨 지금 저기 제다 본 통이 제다 같은 저기 내가 저 같은 데 용을 말했어. 대세자 용을 말했어. 대세자 용을 말했어.
So the result of that negative karma that you have created, you know, for the sake of others, will not be ripened instantly. like instance, cut, instantly cut you as if slashed by a sword. So when you got cut by the sword, it will slash your flesh right away, instantly, right? So the result of negative karma will not ripen like that.
And 당도 담블레야 미지가 tum포이나 and tum냥 바 보나 코스테들 지금 대전 아니 속지 않아 대전 배들이 여러 번. 아, 나중에 전에 사마트네 요 말했어.
So in this world, like if somebody is caught committing a crime, then they will be maybe imprisoned for a lifetime, or they will be hanged to death and so forth like that, right? So that kind of negative karma, I mean, that kind of result and the ripening of the negative karma is like right away in this way lifetime. But not all the karma, the result of all the karma are ripened in that way.
제가 다도나 가디 지랑 거 들어보나 아니 소소 시가라 같더라야. 소소 그 텐들 지금 몇 마리 počega 짜자 제도나 당가 초마서 요게 그래서.
And then, so mostly, when do you experience the result of the negative karma is at the time of death. So when you're about to die, you're lying down in your deathbed, then at that time you will think about that negative karma that you have created, and then you will regret it for having done it.
아니 대전에는 수수 나와라야 지금 예송 그 지금 나와다 맞아지 근데 도와장자 촬영 그래.
And then on top of that, then you also have this appearance of the next life that you're going to you're going to fall into. Like if you created very serious negative karma, then next life you're going to go or fall into the hell realm, then you will have this appearance of the hell realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realms like that.
대신에 간도 용도 미질에 미콜 밑에 거는 마르탄자 도마장자 전도되거나 그 니마지 땅 앞에 밑에 야고도 제마송 삼치 요걸 내그러고 되는 거에서 봐.
So somebody who have been
죽게 말하기 전에
even if it's someone who have not who doesn't believe in dharma, but have been doing all the bad things, cheating others, telling lies, doing bad things to cause harm to others, even that kind of person, eventually in the life at the time of death, if they live long and then die gradually, then at that time they will also regret for having done those bad things.
너와는 밑에 게 말했더니 제가 요즘 섬지질에 단단히 먹었다 야라고 뒤서로.
And it's also like some people they create they engage in the bad actions, like abusing others and so forth. Then even though they did it like 30-40 years ago or 20-30 years ago, it still can come back and then create a problem for them, right?
제가 간지 남동원도 도바사가 왔다. 미카지 무조건 마르잔자 지나 코페 남로죠. 미카지 가든 야고전에 지나 야 남로 문제가 되는 거.
So sometimes we think like some people they're always cheating and they're always telling lies, and then they're very successful, right? And then some on the other hand, then some people who are very humble, very honest, doing the things in the right way, but then they're not very successful. Why is like that?
세상도 레란 저번에도 말했으면
So that is because the karma doesn't ripen right away. And there are many different ways how the karma, how the result of the karma is ripened.
Okay, what are the 3 ways to ripen the result? Yeah, Rika.
Three way of effects, ripening the result is the next rebirth, and you will have a similar result, and environmental result. Is that what you're asking? The rebirth. That's not what you're asking. The 3 effects.
So that's the 3 different kind of different kind of results, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Geshe is asking how it is ripened, how when it's ripened. In other words, maybe it'll be more clear when it's ripened. When will the karma of one of the result of the negative karma, or when will the result of karma will be ripened?
Okay.
When will it be ripened?
I don't understand the question. When
What
does
will
it,
the karma?
when-
What will the result of negative karma? I mean, what will the result of karma ripen?
What ways?
what ways? When?
When?
When? I mean, it could be this life or it could be next life or the following life or
Yeah,
Yes.
three ways, right? 3 ways. How much? 3 ways, right? Everyone got it? 제자는 센달라지.
거듭민을 쓰라고.
거듭민을.
그래서 계시가.
거듭민을.
통준 인생은 세대라지. 렌다셔라면 겨워셔라.
기억하지 말라. 근데 쟤네 요즘에서나 그럼 도저히 유지래. 쟤네 유지래. 레다실은 어때? 도저히 유지는 센달라. 세텔라 산에 셈말만 요다. 쇼케 산에 아니 고담에 요다. 아니 도저히 쟤네 요즘은 딱 기억하지 못하는 거. 아니 지가로 레다실은 요즘은 딱 기억하지 못해 못 보는 거.
So I mean, where it is said in the text is that how will the result of the result of the karma be ripened? How? But actually, it's in the according to the explanation, it is actually talking about when will it be ripened. So there's one is called the one karma, a result of which will be ripened in this very lifetime, and there's one kind of karma, a result of which will be ripened in the very next lifetime. And then there's a result of the karma, which will be ripened in many lifetimes later. So it could be 3 lifetimes, could be 100 lifetimes, could be 1,000 lifetimes later.
제자가 나가서 믹스했다 꼬마자니 쇼케까지 누구자 손을 받는데 어떻게 도시윤지 레스.
So this very lifetime, next very lifetime, or many lifetimes later. So there's 3 like that. So like today, you still somebody who stole today, and then later in the evening. The morning they still in the morning, and then evening they get caught. So that will be like the ripening in this very lifetime.
야, 배심하지 나쁘나. 미심바 코로라니 딩 소소야 미치 와찬로도. 대야번이 돌지주지 렌서. 그것도 다 알아주고 있어. 미카마 코로라니 소소야 미치 와찬로도.
소소 레이드 마라.
소소 레긴 되어야 나가.
레다 마라. 레도 깨나다.
깨나오지는 들든 소소 미치 와찬로도. 대자자 잡고 들어오면 까지 다 뒤서로 고대 오르시네. 같이 즉 미심발은 너와 지네 딘다고 소소 같은 용들이야. 아니 깨내 쇼여서.
So somebody, you do something bad, and then the person gets angry to you, and then you become unhappy. So that person becoming angry is maybe the condition, but you must have done something bad for the person to become angry at you, right? So that negative karma, you said something or did something, and then the person got angry, and because that person got angry, then you get sad, you become upset, or you become unhappy. So that would be like immediate result, right? Immediate, I mean, in this very lifetime. So that's so you created a karma of saying something bad, and then the person getting angry, and then causing you to become unhappy. And so that unhappiness that you experience is the result of the karma that you created in this lifetime.
나도 미카지 테들라 수정은 가데 야르 제와나 가데나 람로시네 미게도 다데 고 레나자라 용되게 야마 께네 용제 트레는 레스 용.
And then some people,
센다 샤이도 말해.
so some people who are doing very good but doesn't become successful, couldn't get the result, good result of those good actions that they're doing. So that is not the result of the karma that they created in this very lifetime. So that must be the result of the karma that they created many lifetimes ago.
바다 미카지야 람로 제와들도 대양 고께와 하마질래야 아니 대하고 사시면 되고 용 그래.
And then same with some people, they are very successful, very they're very lucky or very very successful, and things go very well with them. So that kind of, those are not necessarily that they have created the karma in this very lifetime. There could be the good karma they have created many lifetimes ago, and now they experience the result of that.
Okay. 어떠지 다 렌드에서도 빼 가고 띵 사보 레라오죠 고아만이 빼면서 이 말이 렌드에서도.
So the subtlety, this is the very subtle aspect of the karma, which is very difficult to understand. And it's very deep and very difficult to understand.
안당하도 시에다 그다 렌드 잡아 거라 파도 시에요.
And so these are, of course, the actual, like the details of the karma, we would call it subtlety of the karma or the details of the karma. When was this action created? What kind of action did you create? All these things. We don't know, right? We just know it's a good action or a bad action, but we don't know what kind of good action. So these are the details of the karma. So that's like very difficult to understand. So if you create a karma, a negative karma for the sake of anybody, yeah, so that karma, the result of that karma will be only experienced by yourself, right? So if you are the one who's going to be experiencing that, then what do you do about that? So why are you creating that kind of karma? You know, that kind of negative karma for the sake of others, right? What could you do to not create that kind of karma? So the answer to that is given in verse 32 and 33.
Okay,
so let's read that those verses. The Buddha taught that there are 7 riches: pure faith, conduct, generosity, learning, a flawless sense of modesty, decorum, and wisdom. Know that other common types of wealth are worthless. And then verse 33. Wow, it's a very long way.
very long spellings.
So gambling, joining crowds to see shows, laziness, relying on a heavy companion, liquor, and robbing at night lead to lower realms and loss of reputation. So give up these 6.
Okay, tadi jabula laga, tadi ngato nanju mecha pongo sangat. Ma, karo nyamne sungguh rawat ko jabula.
So these are the advice, for the king and people who are like king, like lay people.
Okay, ta chirangi tanda tindri lenge basaya te chirangi nesunde hamagoni. Nyamne ne macho yengo res.
So the negative karma that you create for the sake of others happens because of not knowing these or not doing these that Buddha taught.
Okay, that's why that pena teba. Tebing nyamle yawaina.
So what prevents you from creating negative karma? Are these like 7 riches that Buddha has taught, right? So first one is the pure faith. So if you have a pure faith, that means you will not create negative karma, right? Is that right? So how will you not create negative karma if you have a pure faith? How will you not create negative karma if you have pure faith?
Yes.
Having faith in the Dharma and understanding, cause and effect, and having faith in that being true would mean that you would believe that in the future you would get the negative retribution or reaction of the action that you're completing. So it'd almost be counterproductive for yourself to do negative actions because you don't want to suffer. Like you wouldn't touch a hot pan right now because you'd immediately get burned. But if you have faith in karma, in the future you will get burned. So.
Okay, Jennifer, are you follow him or different?
I think that would be naming. If you really had faith in karmic cause and effect, you would not you would not engage in non-virtue. But also, I think your refuge would be very firm. You would be, yeah.
Okay, good. How about Bob? Do you have any different experience?
No, that the thing I might say, you just have really a lot of confidence in Buddha's teaching, so then you would follow it. It's the same thing, really.
Okay, let's go.
My question would be: would you also, for having pure faith, wouldn't you not only need method bodhicitta, but have pure wisdom too? Because what I'm thinking about is like the difference between pure faith and blind faith is like just following the guru's words or the Buddha's words without actually testing it out in the world. Whereas pure faith will be developed if you hear this, you go and test it out in the world, you see it for yourself, and you're developing the bodhicitta, but you're also developing bodhicitta / method, but you're also developing wisdom because you need to I feel like to have a pure faith in Buddhism, you would need to understand that nothing has inherent existence.
Yeah, looks good. Thank you. Okay. What do you think?
About what Andrew said, or just in general about faith being a foundation for.
제가 내 나라 베스베다. 콘조다 렌들이 콘조 주보만 렌들이 대화 지다다 콘조라 대화지. 렌들이 이체 그거래스.
Yeah, so like Al and others mentioned about the faith, right? The faith in karmic law cause and effect. That's the main he's talking about here.
제가 안에 베나 콘조라 대화서네 안에 이제 아까로 안에 콜라 TV 콜라 당했다가 안에 송라야 안에 가로 이치 있다와 안에 둘라 응원도 있다와 베나 사지라 야자바이나.
And then also, the faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha in refuge, right? So Buddha, Dhamma, and having faith in the Buddha, and then having faith in Dhamma and having faith in the Sangha. In the having faith in the Buddha's in the body, speech, and mind, like that. Or respecting or having faith in Buddha's body, speech, and mind.
제가 든디게 대화하고이나 안에 공고 송샤베 송들랑도 이치 용거와.
And so if you have faith in the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, then you will also have faith in the Buddha's teachings, right? Buddha's speech and Buddha's teaching.
지난번에 장소라면 일단 렌데다 이치에서 빼는 내 디카스 nen가도 저도 렌데를 시더라도 단다 당모니 저랑기 제와는 레오처럼 그래들라 말이다. 다 년가 되어 왔는데 다 렌데세디 아니 까지 이게 다시 이제 대항 소설을 먹은 데 우선에 이치에나 다 레드 마사라 팽그러와.
And then especially like faith in the karmic law was effect, like having faith in the karma and its result, right? If you create a negative karma, you'll have a suffering result. Having faith or understanding that, right? So being convinced that that's what's going to happen. If you create negative karma, you will have a suffering result. If you create a positive karma, you will have happy result. So having that kind of convincing faith in the karmic law was effect.
제가 대등이랑도 내 남에게 세다 주고 말씀하지 대군에 되는 렌도가 있더라고요. 소속이 예받는 예받을 소속하고도 그래.
So it's not like just thinking that this is what Buddhism says, but is it really like that? Do you feel like it's really like that? If you create negative karma, you will experience the result of that.
Okay. 제 대리가 가서 내시 니도와나 아니 가서 예받는 마사 팽그래.
So if you can find that kind of conviction, faith in the karmic law cause and effect, then that way we will stop creating negative karma.
다 된지게 먹이와대 가서는 다 먹이왔죠. 아주 보상여와.
So what kind of negative karma are there? Then of course those are you all know that those 10 negative karma, non-virtuous actions.
제대로 원래 대당 투좀 세대 듣고 그래서 된지게 저런 게 투좀하고 아니 먹이줄아서 바까지 수수 큰하게 감수야 뭐 마성와인다 아니 렌데 고용와인다 저 된지 아니 렌데야 없고 그래서.
And then that also includes the morality, the morality of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions. And so if you experience the result, the suffering result, because you didn't have the morality of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions. So therefore you have to absorb the morality of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions.
다 원래 주 렌데 야보 마성와지. 다가나 지금 투좀 야보 마서 가지는 거잖아. 아니 전화라야 아니 지가로. 수수고 딱까지 리롱서 게다다 제발까지 잡아주지 못해. 제가 지면년에 매와는 띄운 거예요. 그래서 잡아주지 못해요.
So you don't observe the morality of abandoning the non-virtuous actions, 10 non-virtuous actions, and you don't have pure faith, in the karmic law cause effect. That's because you have strong attachment to your body and possessions, and that is because of not being able to practice generosity or giving away.
Right? 다 오늘 대용을 가졌나? 아니 두바이고 제고 그래서 두 당하세.
So here, it says the conduct, right? So that's referring to the morality and generosity we just talked about. And then in order to understand all this, in order to know these, you have to study, and therefore, learning is very important.
저는 또 당보 니빠서 지지를 반대와도 주는 데와 고고돼.
So you see the connection between these, right? Pure faith, conduct, generosity, and learning.
예? 어제 딱 님마 쇼로 가서 저 소치당 손이라고. 뒤에 갖고 예바다 마요 어제다 노르. 내가 노르라고 그래서 아니 되게 노 두인한테 제고 그래서 다 노르 당보시 성으로.
And so in order to not have or not fall into that explanation, even in verse 31, so you have to practice these 7 riches. This is called the 7 riches, and which of the 7 we have gone through the 4 riches first, right? The pure faith, conduct, generosity, and learning.
아니 다 되어라 아니 못하다 뒤에 못하시 바나 뒤에 봐.
And then after that it talks about and the flawless in the sense of modesty and decorum.
괜히 저 가려 봐.
So what's the difference between modesty and decorum?
Okay, who's going to say? Okay, the Margaret.
Sorry, what was modesty and what?
In the verse, do you see that you have the verse with you?
Third verse.
No, my book is packed up, so I don't have the book with me. Could you just repeat? I'm following. Just modesty and what?
It's called the decorum.
Decorum.
Oh, decorum. Okay, decorum. Modesty and decorum. What's the difference? I don't know. Modesty is with.
You can listen to other people. Then you will get okay.
With humility, with values. Decorum is how we behave, how we should behave in public, in proper manners. I think that's the layman understanding.
It looks good, yeah, it looks good. How about Deborah or maybe Kara or Diana? What do you understand? Who like to say? Yeah, Diana?
I agree with that. I think, it's modesty is being humble, like internally, like believing something, and then decorum is showing respect for others. Right?
How about Deborah?
That sounds good to me. I'm not very clear about them.
How about Kara? You have something to say? If you like to say, it's not necessary.
Yeah, I was thinking when Dana said respect, sense of respect, that makes sense. Or maybe modesty makes me think of like balance. It's not more than is needed or more than is not more than is needed, but also you don't have too much shame or guilt that you put things lower than reality, but also you don't decorate things to kind of change what they are. I don't know, something like that.
Okay, how about Jennifer?
Well, I think those refer to the 2 virtuous mental factors of shame and embarrassment. And so having a sense of shame is
Yeah, how do you shame? I think that
Yeah.
how you shame, how you embarrassment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Continue.
and so the difference between the 2 is really one is kind of just self-directed, like if you're by yourself, right, and you make a mess someplace and nobody's around, but your sense of shame may say, oh, I'm going to clean it up and not leave it for somebody else. Whereas embarrassment, you don't want to do something in front of other people that would create bad feelings among them or about yourself. I think that's what it means.
What do you think?
I think, yeah.
Are you going to follow that? That's good, that's good. Passion to you, then Dewan to see shots. Ranilla to the Megawalan Zeba. Zebala and Motashipalagres. So Tantata, Jennifer Shiro. And the gelati and in Tabala and Tiapas. That's also Jubalatan, then Mene, Rongomare, Yapoyomare, something that Motashipas. Tandechevana and Yangi, Mansevata. And the Jelania Pasa and the younger years of Pantevata.
So in the text, it says like very close to what Jennifer said, like because of oneself, because of oneself, you stop creating negative karma because of oneself, and then and that is modesty, and because of others, then you avoid creating negative karma. That's the decorum or embarrassment, right? So it's like you think that it will not be good for me, so therefore I should not do it. That's modesty. And what will others think if I do that? Or it will not look good in others eyes, so therefore I should not do it. So that's like decorum or embarrassment.
But I'm not middle again. Up in a motor ship, that's also bana. Not away bana. Any so Tawa in Bechani, Anita. So Tawa in Bechani, and make a watch in the Yapon, what is and Katinate, motor ship.
So like in the case of myself as being a monk, when I say, oh, I should not do this because I'm a monk, I should not do this. So that's modesty.
Yeah, so time machine, Miss Jella, Marapchivana, Miss Jembega, Tawashula, and Pontayapo, Maresani, to the Satochena, Nibama or Pegdoa.
And then also it says, oh, I should not do this. What if others see me doing this? It will be not good for me and to any monks in general. It's like in the monks in general, and so therefore I should not do it. So these thoughts like that will stop you creating non-virtuous actions. So somebody who doesn't know Geshe might say that, oh, they just see a monk. They say, oh, well, this monk is mischievous, or he's doing a bad thing like that. Monk is doing a bad thing. They don't say just Geshe, but they might say a monk. So then that goes, that makes all the monks bad.
And that's what they made. Oh, Tawadi Payata Masolagros, Payatawadi Payata Masolagro.
So, like if if Krishna went to Dunkin' Donut and then he just walk away with the coffee without paying, then they don't know him, so they might say, "Oh, this threatened monk didn't pay. He just walk away without paying." See, that creates a lot of negative karma. So then I might think like, oh, this is not good. If I do this, I will create negative karma. So by thinking like that, then you don't do that. That's modesty. And then also, because you are, even though you are not ordained monk or nun, but you are Buddhist, right? So because it's, oh, I'm a Buddhist, I should not do it like that. No, that can also stop you from creating those kind of non-virtuous actions. So usually Geshe says he doesn't like to stand in the line. Especially in India, if you have to stand in the line for a bathroom, and usually the lines are very long. This is very common in India to cut the line. So in the Geshe, he's kind of spoiled by that. So then he tends to do that, but then he said, he gets this. Oh no, this is not good. They will not think good about me. Okay, this might want to explain. That Janasana or Tangan de China, Shochini, Nikala Shuloka, some just Karo Sochi, the Sony Dig, Lende said the Sich the Javana, Nibasu Jonga, then Jonga was some was. Tan Nibangal Jongore, some Namba Bichani. This was Hakoyanza, Chani, Nini, Namba Bichani, or Mishambele, me. Me match and number either come on, maybe with the Yarbi Tigro, Marapchina Yapomes, Tate Kadina Sambaina, so pay Nibalaka shoe hang the thing will And so if you think about this, like the explanation in verse 31, where it talks about the karma created by you, for anybody, for yourself or for others, will be only experienced by you. The result of that karma, that native karma, will be only experienced by you. And think about that, and say, oh yeah, it's like that, so I should not do this. I should not create any kind of native karma because I will be experiencing the result of that. And then, so if you think in that way, then it will stop you from creating that native karma. And then also, if you think about this, being a Buddhist, so he says, oh, I represent the whole Buddhist, so therefore I should not do this. This will bring a bad name to the whole Buddhist. And if you think that because of that, then you don't do it. So that also helps you to create, helps you to stop creating the kind of non-conscious action.
어제도 다들 렌들라 시대 대화치 아니 투좀치 아니 다 투좀은요 신변년이지 아니 다제 투좀 검색은년이지 뭐다 뒤시 받아 영화시 발라 다들 뭐지 좋아해 나와 말해서 된주가 아니 내로 신청 말아 봐 시베 아니 셔럽지다 그로 남치다 땜바시고 그래서
And so you have to have these good actions and good positivities, like pure faith, conduct, morality, generosity, and learning, reflection, and meditation, and then a flawless sense of modesty and decorum, and then in order, just by knowing that, you have to know that well, their reality of these ones. So for that you need the wisdom that understands the reality of these.
어때 법이 너든지 다들 모르고네 아주 줄로 노래나 꼭그마고래 아니 꼬마거도 세르 같은 애들이와 단대 수수 샘게는 연대에 받는데 꼬마거면다 단 법이 너든지 법아 이제 냠미시 요레스.
So these are the seven riches of the Arya being. Riches means like a treasure, it's a treasure or wealth. Right? So these are the real wealth. So this is real wealth that cannot be stolen by thief or others. So these are the seven wealths or riches that is practiced by the higher beings, the noble beings.
다 나중에 니네 냠는데 아니 니가 니라라서 바깥에 이때 취지 쯤에 먹고 있다 법이 넣으라 그래서.
And also because these practices are of the seven riches are not solid by the inwardly concerns, therefore the transworldly practice or transworldly riches.
아니 대망의 실로그 지기 따지서 당기도 잘하면도 되나야 고마고 콘다와 좀더 될라든지 마도 쇼도와 야 딘데기 지지네 아니 마도 용 어쨌든 마보용 그래서 니 뭐요 말이스.
So it is not like the external wealth, which can be stolen or can be lost or stolen, and then and because of that, it can cause a lot of conflicts, like fight, war, and so forth. Right? And so these wealth are not like that.
Okay,
So now we're going to do analytical meditation for about 5 minutes on this. And so now meditate or do the analysis on these, think whether these are correct or not. If you have these, like pure faith, conduct, generosity, learning, flawless sense of modesty and decorum and wisdom, then will that stop you from creating native karmas or not?
Okay. What do you think? It's true? Or so? Maybe?
Yeah, I was thinking about how one aspect of faith for me is like I believe like firmly in the law of karma and cause and effect, but there's always a part of me that, you know, I'm 30, like I'll have time, I can learn more. I have plenty of time, which is crazy because I'm a paramedic. Like I see people get into car accidents or whatever. So even though I see that day in and day out, I almost don't have like the renunciation or the faith in renunciation almost, you know, like obviously from an intellectual standpoint, there's the faith in that, but the faith, I don't know.
Example, are you guys believe the law? No choice?
Yeah,
Sorry.
follow
Right.
the law, yeah.
We all follow the law, right? Kanji, no. I think we say we believe the law. And so because we believe the law, then we follow the law. Stephanos. Bro.
Yeah, you may
Tum
not.
la ichi anda tum ya usong.
So if you believe in law, then you will follow the law, right?
It's correct.
I think if you believe in consequences from the law, because you may not agree with it, but you still don't
But you have no
want to.
choice. Right?
Yeah, no choice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
so if you
choice.
believe there will be consequences, yeah.
Right? It's really all right. The tumga in me mana bena ngam text take out the ngam the sena show muda kai koi ta ja do ta to ko.
So because we believe in the in the breaking of the law. So when we break the law, and then if we have to pay for that, then we immediately pay, right? We don't hesitate to not to pay for that.
대야 안에 tum는 가게 오면 이 로조 거다 두 바데 거다.
And then also for that you need the knowledge, right? You have to know, you have to learn about it.
근데 tum이 보서는 뭐다 뒤에도 용도.
And then you, in order to observe that kind of law, you have the modesty and the decorum, right?
Okay. 제가 남비 기자 많이 받은 거는 얘네들이 이제 직장 로즈는 된 라우슈도 됐다. 저도 다 되게 돼.
So it's not really to do only with the Buddhism, but also in the day-to-day life, right? You can relate with that, right? When you're into our day-to-day life, and even in the, in our what's this? In that worldly life, right?
What do you think, Bob? Today he said
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah, in terms of the law, yeah, we just have to follow the law.
Yeah,
No choice.
just like that.
Usually the law is also very usually we agree with the law anyways. There might be one or two that we
don't
think is
believe
not
that.
quite right, but we still have to follow it.
제가 대체와도 같이 이치 여완자 될 포로지도 그러나.
So that's because we have faith or belief in that, right? So that's why we can follow.
제가 안 빼고 룸바들이 미리 좀더 빼고 송도 다 좀더 된다고 송 거다.
So like people in this country, they follow the rules very well, right? So you should follow the morality like that too.
다시 잘라도 그냥 그 텍스트 제거나 그 대자식도 없고 좀 그때거나 될 생각 계속도.
So like because it's a law, to pay the tax, right, for anything you buy, and so you don't feel any hesitation to pay, you don't feel a sense of loss or miserliness to pay that.
그러나 대고점 그때 조절했고.
So that's because it is made by the law, right? And you believe in that.
제가 누우지는데 누우진 다 고치는데 다 대화 들으면서 봤는데 너 그때 내가 딱봐 고개에서 누웠대. 누우지 지나서 많이 내 특히 많은데 사모 약보 시다는데 내 오늘 특히 내가 쇼래시네.
So you should not just like say, oh, I know of faith. That's just not in a superficial level, but really deep. The thinking that thinking or contemplating on that very important.
Right? 내가 가서 걔인데 이걸 쓰면 뭐 땅이 다 담보잖아. 다 된 거다지. 다 넣었는데 샤지. 오늘 상관은 내가 못사 뒤에서 빼 문제 오늘 가로 땡 사보셔래도
So Geshe, he's been like contemplating on that recently when he was reading this text, And it is really, very deep, to deep, when you think about this modesty and decorum, right? So usually it's just modesty, being modest like that, but and what it really means is really, deep.
And northern Basharab said the Tamburamachi, that Tiramji Tachibe, Shin Tabato, Drawing.
And then the seventh riches here talks about the wisdom, right? So just like His Holiness mentions, always, having a faith by knowing it, not just blind faith, but by knowing it. So knowing is the wisdom. And so if you have that wisdom, then you will be able to observe it well also. Like you have that wisdom, knowing the rule of this country, into details. Therefore, you are able to observe, the rules.
Okay. 제단데 특권을 아니 남이 추성도나 섬직다. 대만은 직딩이 변하다 lumba가 좀 남이 좀 소소 틈이야지. 가원에 틈이 여러 왔어. 도저 대한 체wan 두드면 소소 그때 이치 체만이 체wan 두드면.
So this conduct, like the morality or the conduct that's mentioned here in the text or in the teaching, it is related with the day-to-day life in our secular life or in your family life. So you have kind of rules, right? Rules that you have to follow in the world, in this secular society or in your own family. And so those are like the conduct. So you follow those, you have rules, you have to do this or this way like that. And so you have to do that. So that's the conduct.
What do you think, Sharon? You have to say something?
Good. It all makes sense.
Okay, good. How about JJ? Deborah?
So I have a question. This is talking about how one experiences the results of one's own actions, but how is collective karma explained then?
The question 초득이 레세지라 미모부지 미모부지기 다 민도 사이저라 하는 데리 가르쳤어.
단단가도 신득을 해서 단단가도 변나 단단가도 못 보자. 나도 내가 냠도 사대요. 근데 레 누가 나 변나 뭐 보지 말 냠지는 간간 마 자동으로 냠들 했어요. 뒤손으로 계속서 많이 봐.
Yeah, so you can create, you can create a collective karma when you create a karma with a group of many people together. Like now, we're gathering together, and doing something. So that way we're creating this collective karma of creating a good action. And then also, like some people, many people go into the war. They all, cause destructions or kill people together, and where they are in kind of, they all are in the part. They take a part, to do that. So they're creating this collective karma there.
근데 미치세네 미치세와지 생이 미치세와 맞지 얘나 뭐 종한 냠도 공거 가오고만 강간이 봐 싸도 그래.
And then again also, if somebody else is doing it, but then you rejoice in that, like say one person killed, but then other 15 people say, oh, that's very good that he killed, then they're all creating negative karma at the same time. So that becomes also like a collective karma.
다 텐데 미치지라 딱 모자 뒤에 담도 요바이나 that many
so, but if there's one person among them who have these riches, like modesty or decorum, then I say, oh, this is not good. I should not do this. I should not. It's not good for me. It's not good to think like that. What will people think about that? Like that. So if you have that, and that will stop you from rejoicing or creating that negative karma.
Okay.
Geshe, I have a question. I have a question.
Yes.
So, okay, so is a thought then considered an action, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just the intention, like when you think this bad thought, that's a complete action that creates negative karma.
So.
다들 그 사바탄 말아서 저에게 되는 그 저를 주고 그랬어. 내 찾아와 싸워라. 중어주승
정이
사와라.
주승 최단 사와 고다네. 야 맞아 뭐 말해. 그 싸마더니 그 니바 산로다.
중어주승 상 말하세요.
대체 최단 상마에 니바 싸서 했나. 달리 톱된 상마 싸서.
Yeah, that's correct. So in order to have this, complete karma, of the motivation, the action, and the conclusion, and you need that. But by having that, the rejoicing thought over the negative karma, and is also creating negative karma.
Like example, someone killing something, we don't have any motivation to kill that, but we say, "Oh, he did good," because we rejoice.
But where's the intent, right? Like the action is the thought, but you don't have an intention to have the bad thought, and like I'm having a hard time seeing the three within the thought.
진짜 단다 텔레 단다 용모도 나 가실에 동복 걸는 되는 저걸 타마테제 타야부 종소서 나데 그래서.
Yeah, so yeah, in this case, you don't have that. You only have the thought. Yeah. So the thought can be also counted an action, but you didn't have that motivation. Oh, I'm going to have that thought like that. You didn't have that. You just had that thought of rejoicing over negative karma created by somebody else. So that itself is bad, and that itself is bad. But it doesn't have the motivation, and it doesn't have the conclusion. Maybe also the conclusion, maybe you might have it. You might rejoice it. You might say, "Oh yeah, that's right. Very good. It happened like that." So that you can have that. But even if you don't have all those three, it doesn't mean that you don't create negative karma. You can still create negative karma. But if you have all those three, then it becomes really heavy negative karma.
Okay, thank you.
이제 개와 시반 통 때는 쳐도 뭐그 셈반에 개와 이지다시는 개와 좀 통그랬어.
The same with the positive karma. So if somebody is creating positive karma, instead of saying, "Oh, he's just being like that, he's just doing something good to show off to others," like that. And instead of thinking like that, instead of being jealous with them, if you just deeply rejoice in their good actions, then you also create a same amount of positive karma as the others.
Okay. 다 된게 대외 너 되는 냠내 지야라 빠진도 없이 제게도 냠내 제와라 제 맞중에 빠진도 없이 거래서 와이나.
And so then these 7 riches, are something that we have to practice. Right? We should practice. So what causes us to, what prevents us from practicing these 7 riches?
대용어를 제지가 제마도 성로. 제가 다 근데 슈르가 티슈마데 가도. 소송으로. 다티로 다티다나 카르 다 자본들은 로딩 좀 말아.
And then that's said in the verse 33, right? Do you think the king will be doing that?
자보 번에 겐테 그래봐. 겐테 카지노 그래 자보.
The gambling. Does the king gamble? Oh yeah, right, big time.
Right? 용서 그러was. 다는 이게 단디 문두사 가지 집 가로. 그거는 뉴스에도 인증을 가려 그래.
네, 단디 참가했어.
니용 참가해서 가지 용모 발사기야. 그들은 로엠으로 말했어.
And joining crowds to see shows.
안에 레로지 다수 제거를 제 맞춰야 되는 예바 영어를 대abo 말했어.
And then laziness.
안에 도보도가 되버리고 말했어.
The laziness, it's like not doing the good things and doing the bad things. That's laziness. Relying on the evil companions, like following non-virtuous friends.
아니 장동원에 해내서.
And then drinking alcohol, liquor.
And then robbing
at night, robbing at night. That means like roaming around at night. So that will lead to the lower realm. These will lead to the lower realms. And loss of reputation. So because if you do this, then you will not be able to practice those 7 riches of the noble ones.
Wait a minute. King do like that?
With the first 3 though, with the gambling, public spectacles, and laziness, those are negative because they prevent you from practicing the Dharma. There isn't anything like intrinsically wrong about gambling, or would you say there is? Like, is gambling in a vacuum, is gambling a negative action, or is it just negative because you're now wasting your time gambling and not practicing the Dharma?
What do you think?
I mean, I don't think gambling's a smart idea, but I don't think it's like an evil act. You know, if you want to throw away your money, you can.
The Lengyaba.
What do you guys think?
I would disagree. I think it's negative because gambling, like let's say you have a good amount of money, you're having like a bad intention with what you're using, and it's caused you will lose it recklessly. And I would say like a similar thing with laziness. Why laziness is bad is because you are not you are not you are avoiding doing good actions, and you're just increasingly becoming like the more lazy you become, the less good you're doing for anyone else. And I guess my last point, as I'm thinking about laziness, is like they see in the Dharma a lot of books. They talk about like you could be hard working at something, but it's still laziness because you're doing it for worldly gain as opposed to doing it out of good intention. Like like people were saying like, oh, like if you're doing like extreme sports or stuff, that can be laziness because you're you're wasting the hard work on something that is not the Dharma.
Okay, okay. Bob?
I think gambling on its own, not necessarily bad, but it's, if you're losing money gambling, then you're giving up something you could have used to practice generosity. But if you win, then you could use that extra money to practice generosity. But for some people, it becomes an addiction, and it's very destructive for some people. But yeah, it's probably better to just use your money to practice generosity rather than gambling.
How about you can make more money?
Yeah.
You can make more. Yes, Jennifer.
I think in this context, gambling's a little more broad. It says in this commentary also that it's like any maneuvering to gain wealth. So it's not just strictly, like going to the casino. You could be any kind of deal making or anything to gain wealth.
Yeah. 저도 꼭 그런 농음식으로 바지에서 망친 농음식으로 다 gemba 생겼어요. 다 때문에 가로야.
Yeah, of course, of course, when you go to the gambling, usually you would go with the intention to win. So, yeah, I want to make money. I want to go and make money from others like that. So that's the most intent most of the time in the intention to when you gamble.
아이나 다 내변에 잡고다 야는 네 잡고 거저네. 잡고 변에 잡고 변에 다 메마 야고 쫑알라. 다 잡고 드는 건 거야 말와서. 잡고 잡아들잖아. 잡고 네 가고. 다 작금 투셔도 그러고.
So like if king were to do that, right, engage in the gambling, then that would be a bad repetition for the king in front of his people, right? People, will think bad about the king. And then also, he will be gambling, and maybe he might even gamble away all the wealth of the country, right? And so, and then that can cause a lot of problems, to the king himself and to the public also, to the people, and therefore, especially for the king, it's not good.
And 소득 제거 용화라 빠지적으로 받는데나 렐로세야 되나 아니 종면 봐야 되다 또 배 저거도.
And then also these things like laziness and relying on a bad companion, and all these are bad, and so very related with each other like that.
Okay, 제가 내 시동 잡으라는 단도도야 같이 수수급에나 점사 좋아라 내가 같이 지게요. 아니 소소 즉 자급 정화나 빠지 제가 와. 다 취저를 빠지 봐도 이 바다 이 바로 드시고로 와.
And so this gambling can cause hindrances in serving the people and running the country. And then, of course, it causes hindrances in the Dharma practice.
Right? 제가 너도 특내에 좀더 단다 단다들 좀더 홍보되다. 네니 특내 단다 상로다 공적. 소소 셈라 야샤 잔이야. 반딩문에 레도 섬도 토일레도 싶다.
So this is the homework, for you. Okay, so just really think about it, and does it really cause harm to you? Is it really 100% causing harm to you if you do these actions?
그냥 나도 맨날 오지. 소소를 내가 하고는 나도 사고마로 칼라로 오지 가는다. 맞아 사고마로.
So like so something that is causing harm to you, if you know that really well, right? If you know something causing you harm, like even if it's a medicine, right? If it has a lot of side effects and it's causing you to become more sick, then you will not take it. And then if, like the food or anything else, right? If that's causing you a lot of sicknesses or damage to your body, then you will not take it. You have to know it. If you know it really well, then you will not take it. If you don't know, if you just say, oh yeah, you like that, and then you will not stop it from taking. But if you really know it, then that for that you have to like spend a lot of time thinking about it and listening or reading and so forth, right? And then you will think about it. Then you will take it seriously.
내가 말해 그 잡을 랍사 이 마사 맞지. 내 시단 라벨 잡을는데 소설 라고 위해서 소알 레벨 더 답시다.
So you should not think like, oh, this is Nagarjuna telling the king. Of course, he's directly telling the king, but it's also for us, for anybody, right? So you should feel like, oh, this is telling to me, not just to the king.
대한데 시간도 연발에 맞아 맞지. 땡문에 레도 선부터 라트바지로.
And so then also not thinking that, oh, maybe it's like that. Yeah, he's saying that maybe it might be like that. Not just thinking like that, but it's really coming to understand that, yes, it's really like that. And it's telling, telling to me.
Okay. What do you think? And you have a lot of books then. What they say?
Oh, well, I was just thinking about laziness because Alex had said that he didn't think that laziness was necessarily negative, right? You would say.
I was just saying, yeah. I mean, I think laziness prevents you from practicing Dharma. So, I mean, I don't see how laziness in and of itself is like an evil action, like killing or stealing. You're not taking away from anyone else or causing harm to anyone else but yourself.
That text here also doesn't say it's a negative karma.
Yeah. I think to avoid,
negative karma chuwala can't get into the can't. Contoya desicante negative peja team today. I can't do it. Probably not the Yamle Chevala and the position can't go to check it.
So again, it's not saying that in the text also, it doesn't say that itself is bad, but if you engage in that, that can hinder you.
And I'm not agreeing. I'm not agreeing with Alex.
You're from practicing the 7 riches of the Dharma.
Yeah. I brought it up because I was thinking that it's actually characterized in as an afflicted mental factor. So which would mean that it was necessarily a negative state, laziness, right? I mean, it's one of the 20 secondary afflictions.
Yeah, so if you have laziness, like especially when we talk about the laziness of engaging in the non-virtuous action, then that kind of laziness is itself is bad, right?
Meaningless,
not non-virtuous, but meaningless activities. And then of course there's a laziness, lethargy, the laziness of lethargy. That's like, do you want to do anything, So just sitting there not wanting to do. Of course, if you have that, then you will not do the studies and practices, and so that hinders you from doing the practice.
Okay, what kind of lazy you guys have?
All 3.
How are you guys?
I have all 3 kinds.
I thought I don't have anyone. You guys, how about Riga?
Sorry, I missed the question. My internet was not.
Okay, how many legs you have?
How many
Which leg do
laziness?
you have? Yeah, which leg do you have?
Oh, I have so many laziness.
Among
Okay,
the three kind of
among three
businesses,
kinds.
which kind of business you have?
Not doing
당간도 맞아 다니라 님을로 요. 당간 좋은 말을 삼대시. 아주 제토금도 용어 말을 삼대시.
So what do you call that? So the laziness of lethargy, and then there's the meaning engaging in the meaningless action, and then lack of confidence. Like lack of confidence. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm not capable of doing it like that. So that kind of laziness.
I think I have all of them. I
You
do.
sure?
Yeah, I do.
Good, even you think that.
I have all three.
Alex and Bob say, "Oh, we have three." You say, "I'm thinking I have three."
No. I was thinking about it, and then I think I do. I have to meditate on it more to have an exact example, but I do. I know I do.
Okay.
What was the second one again? The second one?
So that's a laziness, like, we normally describe as like, oh, I'm too tired, I don't want to do it like that. That's kind of one laziness. And then the other laziness is this laziness, oh, I'm not capable of doing it, like lack of confidence. And then the third one is engaging in meaningless activities. So even though you're working really hard, but if it's not meaningful in accordance with Dharma, then that's meaningless. So those actions that is not meaningful in accordance with Dharma, if you engage in that, that's laziness.
Sometimes they say that it's a busyness. Like people always say, "Oh, I'm busy," I'm busy.
Yeah. When I listened, he's only teaching today. He said, the people say, "I don't have time to meditation or practice." He said, you have to make for your own practice. He said, he get up early morning, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, but he have no time to daytime. Therefore, he used that early morning to meditation. That's how I listened to it. He also give the one example for the Catholic monk. The monk also get up 2 o'clock. He's like my good friend. He said, I'm get up 3 o'clock. But he also, in order to also don't lose your sleep. Then he said he'll sleep early, get up early. He said, I don't have time. But you have to make the time. Time doesn't vary you. This is really true, right? If do something, we have always do something. Then you're really common man, you can do something. But in order to do, you need to be very smart. Especially the lot of Western, they knew they want to do very strict. Then they, doesn't get the really result soon. Then they become like
Laziness.
Laziness. Lethargy. Okay, therefore, be smart, skillfully do meditation. That means you 2 verses try to say, especially the first verse, try to more think about, try to understand to reality for the
Conviction.
Conviction. We need a very important conviction. If you say always in all Buddhism where all Dharma said that really doesn't work for us. Because you have not much faith. If someone change a different one, you go that way. Therefore, we need to. I'm getting old. Even if this right now, I just forgot. Conviction. The conviction is what makes conviction? The meditation makes conviction. Not just thinking it. You need to analytical meditation makes conviction. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Yes, Jennifer? No, Margaret.
I guess I have this question about karma, and sorry, maybe it's more like to clarify the thought on it. I know we talk about a lot of time we say karma, and tonight specifically in the beginning, the of the class, we say that karma has to, negative karma is experienced only by ourselves, no one else. Yeah, and I accept that. So, and I accept positive karma too, but my question is, did Buddha say the same thing about positive karma?
of course.
Is positive karma also only experienced by yourself and no one else?
That's a good question. Okay, answer the general.
Well, I think, yeah, the results of your action can only be experienced by themselves. If someone else benefits from your virtue, that's the ripening of their karma.
It means now what?
That means
So
it's same with the positive karma.
It makes sense?
Same with positive karma. Sorry.
Yes.
So negative karma, my negative karma has to be experienced by myself. Likewise, my positive karma has to be experienced by myself. However, if the action of my positive action, my positive karma benefit other people, how does that how do I explain that? That is my good karma. How come they are getting they are experiencing my good karma too? If we
So just like when you create a negative karma, that can also make other people unhappy, right? So when you create negative karma, that negative karma can make other people unhappy, or you're like, of course, if you're creating negative karma, killing somebody, then that negative karma is killing the other person, so taking the life of the other person. So other person is suffering, right?
Mm-hmm.
From your action, other person is suffering. So how is like that then, in case of the negative karma?
Same.
Same like that.
Yeah, same.
It's their karma.
And the consider
제가 소리고 개와 제발 때니
말다 답변은 민 소속이 있다 디바체 미시다 누구라
no you want that
that make 데부디 소속만 연구가 말서 내가 데부디 파조를 연구다
소속 사십을래 소속을 양가다 되게 양 파조를 양말 그저 말다 소속 사업에 레데 소속을 양가래 되게 미 파조와 양 매워 쳐불라고 말 너 지금 니 지금 매워 그저 말 미 파조는 양만은 소속 매워 쳐서 되고 말했어.
So the negative karma that you create doesn't mean that doesn't harm others, but the result of the negative karma created by you can be only experienced by you, but doesn't mean that negative karma doesn't harm others. Okay, so you have to understand that.
Oh, okay, I get it. Get it.
Yeah, so the negative karma you create, of course that harms other people. That's why that's negative karma, right? That's harming other people. That's why that's negative karma. But the result of that negative karma is only experienced by you. It's the same with positive karma. So the positive karma you create can benefit others, but the result of the positive karma that you create is only experienced by you.
저는 그때는 네 시간을 빼나 저랑을 튀어라 뭘 튀었다. 저랑 그 쳤대 철을 칼 대체 냐치 세워있나? 다들 디바 시크였나? 망에 쿠처 세원 말마테 디바 저랑 그래서 세 취득 세워다 에나 디바 저랑 디바 respect 너.
So for example, like you have a dog, right? So in order to feed the dog, if you kill the fish, right? You say, oh, I'm killing the fish to feed the dog. It's to help the dog. But yes, it helps the dog at that time. That negative karma can help the dog. But the result of that negative karma, killing the fish, is only experienced by you.
제가 니를 그렇게 저랑 그 도보다 저랑 개개한다 판매치도 예받아서만 되게 예받아 저랑 기면 그렇게 말다세.
So just like that, you create a negative karma for the sake of your dog, like that. In this text, we're saying is if you create negative karma for the sake of your guru, for the sake of the monks or Brahmin, like that, or for your family, whoever you created negative karma for, that result of that negative karma is only experienced by you.
Yeah, it's easy. it's easy to accept that, too easy to understand that, like, it's very definitive that negative karma can only be experienced by us. You have to experience your own karma. I think what I'm trying to understand is because we also do a lot of virtuous action to create merit, right? So the merits that we want to experience, that merit is our good karma. But also there is a lot of teachings that are our beliefs that I'm doing this. For example, we do a lot of prayers, and that for my parents, let's say, I do a lot of prayers for my parents because I want it, it's to benefit them, and I want to transfer my merit to them, so to speak. Is it possible, like for them, because they did not create the karma, they did not create the karma of meeting the Dharma, but I'm like saying, oh, can I please transfer mine to there, and can that happen? Because this is good karma, right? I have I'm supposed to experience that good karma for myself, but I'm saying I don't want that. Can I give it to them? Something like that.
되게 군도 개와치 사는 군도 저 파마도 개와치 사는 그래서 반명이 째지는 지랑 생기치 못지 알아봤어. 못도 치 못해.
Yeah, you can help them, by doing that. You can help them. So they made you do that, So like, so I'm going to do this for my parents, right? So your parents became the condition for you to do that. So they help you to do that. They help you to do the good things. So in that way, they also, create a positive karma.
Okay, I get it now. They become the cause, the condition, like the cause, almost like causal condition. Okay.
So you're creating positive karma can benefit them, because just like they created, because they become a condition for you to create a positive karma. So you can benefit both yourself and your parents. So just like, when you ask a monk or like Geshe to do a prayer for so and so people, right? And then he does the prayer, so how can that benefit? So Geshe is doing the prayer, so how can that be experienced by them, right? So, but because they created, by making a request, they create a condition for Geshe to do that. So that way they create a positive karma also. And otherwise, what positive karma that Geshe created by doing the prayer himself cannot be transferred to them. But when they made the request to do that, they created a condition for that prayers to be done. Therefore, they created positive karma in that way.
Okay.
It's not that much different than if, let's say, a beggar asks you for something and you gave them money with good intention. So you create that they become the condition for you to create the positive karma. And they're not sharing in that because they got the money. That's their past karma ripening in that they got it, right? So they're just a condition in the same way, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, condition, yeah. Okay, that's a good question. That's good. This thing is also very tricky. It's not easy to understand. But try to do this 2 verses, thinking more and more, you guys, okay? Then we stop. We thought, I thought maybe we just pray, then we stop. But now it's more longer. Okay, sure, pray.
Okay, please turn to page 39 for the Thanksgiving mandala offering. Saji Bhakti Shuja Loka Nanda Shena Shoba Jetsun Brahmin Kutira Penji Naka Kame Shoji Vada
Lozan Tempe Tome Sasanje, Rave Mense Tata Meji.
Idam Guru Ramandala Kamiya Sayani. Page 43. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life until samsara's end. Savior of the snowman teachings and transmigratory beings who extensively clarifies the path that unifies emptiness and compassion, to the lotus in the hand, Lord Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be fulfilled. Page 49. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjuna's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior, myself, and others, your disciples, please, please return swiftly. Page 57. Through this virtue, may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. And page 75. Thank you, Angela.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. How to do a little bit more thinking, okay?
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Geshe-la.
Good night.
Yeah, Sheila.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.